Hello there, welcome back to Unfiltered, and we have another very exciting edition, man. Today I'm going one-on-one. I call him now, he's the most, I don't know how to call it, the position he has now is possibly the most respected and the most feared at the same time in Ghana. Let me shut up. Put your hands together, show some love for my good friend, Musa Dankwah. Musa Dankwah. They say we are big, you're big, oh. Because it's like, you don't feel it. You know, I was watching Poladomotre, and I know for sure that he was one person that castigated the hell out of you based on some polls you had made, you know?
Disgrace political research. Musa Dankwah, you are disgracing political research. What is this? Where is this coming from? What is this? Musa Dankwah, you are disgracing political research. We don't like that. If you didn't study political science and if you're going to learn it from some cocoa, please don't come and embarrass us. Steve Ayan will be, Steve Ayan is an NDC man, but he will be embarrassed by this. What kind of research is this? What is this? Musa Dankwah, what is this?
He was now projecting a poll from Musa Dankwah and on the any argument. I'm saying, wait a minute.
Now, the survey done by Musa Dankwah is quite interesting. What he's doing is that he's striking a comparison between this and that, this and that, that and that. Let's hear him. Put Musa Dankwah's stuff there. He says, Haruna Idrisu versus ATO FORSON, Haruna Idrisu versus Asedun Ketia, and Asedun Ketia versus Professor Jenan Opokwa-Jeman. NDC voters in all 16 regions were polled. He says, now the rest of the head-to-head, but we have reproduced ATO FORSON versus Asedun Ketia again.
I said, when I see you, that's the first thing I'm going to ask you. How did you feel? Were you aware that he had done that? And
no, actually, I saw the video.
Oh, you saw the video?
A couple of days back. I think I shared a post on my wall. So why do you use somebody's work that you don't trust to make or to enrich your program?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine his program without the polls. It wouldn't have been interesting. So the polls we have done made his work program, more interesting. So we've added value to his work. But I believe he'll probably stick to the data and not kind of create an impression of data being doctored or something like that. I think that is his problem. I don't have a problem at all anybody using my data, but you have to be honest. Either you trust and use it or you don't.
Well, when I saw him using it, I'm saying, wow, Musa Dankwah poll, you know. But it was interesting. I was wondering how you'd react to that hey, Charlie.
No, I also understand the game.
Yeah.
You know, for some of these programs on some of these individuals. So if you don't understand them very well, then you'll be worried or you'll get a bit disturbed with some of this. So I understand it's the politics they are all playing.
Let me start from something a bit bizarre, because there's so much talk. It's all politics, and I just want to pick your brain. UP. Does UP stand any, from wherever you are sitting or standing, where's the UP in all of this?
Interestingly, I think the first poll we've done that involves UP was the March poll. And they are showing signs of resurgence, surprisingly, yes.
What are the numbers like?
I will give it to you right now shortly, but you could see they are making impact in the voter region. They're also making some impact in the Western region. And interesting as well for UP voters, we found out that they are the most educated voters.
Most educated?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. If you combine those with senior high and tertiary, close to 80% of them, close to 80% of UP voters have at least senior high.
Wow.
Yeah, higher than the NDC, higher than MPP. Actually, it's the UP in terms of proportion first, followed by those who don't disclose their party affiliation. And then you have floating voters. Then you have NDC. Then you have MPP and the other parties in that order. So UP guys are, by the data, the most educated.
Wow. Wow. Are they getting grounds?
No, this is the first time we've picked them in the data,
Okay,
so
okay.
you can't see the
You
change.
can't see the change.
So subsequently, when we do further polls, we'll see that
then
they
you
are
can
growing,
know.
they're growing a number on. But it doesn't look bad at all for a party. And again, it's an offshoot of MPP. So what we may be seeing are people who would were normally MPP that are going to UP. However, in the voter region, those who are moving to UP are not MPP, rather NDC.
Wow.
So it's a bit of mixed bag.
Wow. So is it the MPP voters who are not moving to UP but NDC?
No, generally it's MPP voters going to UP, but in the voter region, in particular,
Okay.
those going to UP are not MPP, but rather NDC.
I see. So UP is attracting both of them.
Yes.
And they're very, very confident. You know, I've listened to Solomon Owusu, and he's like, you guys, you're in for a big shock.
Yeah, I mean, what we are doing, fortunately, after listening to some of the smaller political parties, we used to, merge all of them as others in terms of the report we publish. What we have done in going forward in the June poll, that we've shown every party individually. So you can see those who say they are CPP, PNP, PNC, Irega's party. So we've now kind of put them individually. When we are done, then we can then consolidate them. We know the strength of each before we can consolidate. So it gives us a time to see what the strength of the side of the particular party is on their own.
Does your reader pick the base anywhere?
We haven't caught them yet. So now they are in the options we have for voters. The base is there. We'll see what size are they across the country.
So it's the base allegedly is for Kennedy Japan. Your polls have picked anything like that, or you haven't even?
The question is, there are two bases now.
There are two bases.
Yes, there's one led by Ajako and his people.
Oh, yeah.
And there's another one from the former campaign manager of Kennedy.
Yeah,
Utibonsu. But if you look at closeness, then the guy closest to Kennedy may be the real base. But understand the case is in court, so we're waiting to see what happens. But look, the people in the base, whether the Ajako base or the Utibonsu base, they all kind of have the same kind of ideas as to where they want to take the party to.
Let's move on to the MPP. Now it is certain that Bawumia is their candidate. That's certain. What I'm picking, and I don't know, what I'm picking, a good friend of mine would say, what the street is saying. I mean, I thought it was ridiculous, but I said I would ask you when you come here that personally, Bawumia would prefer Asiedu Nketia to be the NDC candidate. Is that any truth to that?
Look, if you are a data person, you are guided by data. If you look at the last poll, which is the March poll, which of the candidates are giving Bawumia a better chance of winning? A better chance means that the candidate whose performance doesn't give comfort for the ruling party and give hope for the opposition party. If you look at Asiedu Nketia's performance against Bawumia, it is 51% against Bawumia 39%. That's about 12% gap.
Asiedu Nketia has 51.
Yes.
Bawumia was at 39.
39.
Yeah.
But if you move up to, let's say, Harun Idrisu, the data shows that he does 54% against Bawumia's 37%. So that gap is much bigger than that of Asiedu Nketia. Now, if you go to FORSON does 55% against Bawumia. Bawumia gets 37%. That is 18 points gap. So would I choose somebody who has 18 points gap to face an election? I'll choose the one that gives me 12 points gap. So naturally, statistically, I'll go for the one that gives me a chance. So I wouldn't be surprised if people are clamoring for Asiedu Nketia because probably they've seen some numbers and that may be guiding what they say.
And will this be part of the decision making for the NDC?
Look, every natural person will look at who is the best for me. That's how candidates are selected in many cases. There are instances where we've seen a party select somebody who is weaker than the other. And if you look at the 2023 MPP primaries, we're doing the same thing we've been doing now. We're doing head-to-head between Mahama and Bawumia in 2023. We're doing Alan Martin against Mahama in 2023. And the data shows at the time that Alan was doing 2% better than Bawumia against Mahama. 2% better against Bawumia. But NPP ended up saying
Alan was doing 2% better?
Yeah, so in some cases you see maybe Bawumia on 38% against Mahama, but then against Alan, Alan goes to 40%, and Mahama drops. So those are the things that people were looking at. So I would say that in 2023, the stronger candidate for MPP was not Bawumia, but Alan Martin, but they didn't elect him. But delegates have their own reason for picking who they want to lead us. So many issues go into delegate. And remember, Alan withdrew from the race when he lost the super delegate election, and then Kennedy couldn't defeat him in the main primaries. The same thing, delegates are looking at the polling data and see who is the best for us. But for now, I think without any doubt, that ATO FORSON is the best performing candidate for the NDC at this moment.
Does your poll show why he is
Look,
the best?
I can give you some from the data and some sentimental. Sentimental in the sense that you could feel that people attribute what is happening in the country today to the economy. So generally, he gets the credit for what we are seeing in terms of cost of living. If it goes up, it's going to go against him. And the price of certain things coming down, people feeling a bit relief and so on and so forth, inflation coming down, they attribute that to him. So he's getting that kind of credit. So for me, and from the data, I believe that if he doesn't hold this stable, he will suffer from a drop in those numbers. Beside that, look, demography is very important. And I always say that if you want to know who's going to win, look at the demography of the voter. This country is 78 to 80% young voters, people around 44 years and below. When they line up to queue to vote, who are they voting for? When it is Bawumia against ATO FORSON, how many young people vote for ATO FORSON? And how many young people vote for Asedin Ketia against Bawumia? It gives you a clue. The younger people who are majority are looking to elect somebody who is like them. And that's the challenge that the older delegates or the older candidates will struggle with. The country is young, and that voter age will play a very key role in who become president. Beside that, look, the Akans are about 45% of the voting population, just like the country. And if you look at the vote ATO FORSON gets among the Akans, it's much bigger than the vote that Asedin Ketia gets against Bawumia. So the Akans rally behind ATO FORSON much more than they do for Asedin Ketia. That is a fact from the data. And also, when it's Asedin Ketia, you have MPP guys rallying behind Bawumia than they do if it's against ATO FORSON. It means that a lot more of the MPP voters vote for ATO FORSON against Bawumia than if it is Asedin Ketia and Bawumia. So those are the differences that we are seeing so far in the polls.
And their vote, if I were to guess, is based on the fact that he's easier to beat. Am I saying right?
You know, a lot of things come into play. But if you are an MPP, certainly you wouldn't want a stronger candidate per the data to give you a good shot at the presidency. If I was in their position, I would bet that they vote for somebody who is nobody, and then the person will struggle to win. So that's what people will do.
Okay.
I mean, if you remember in 2022 or 2020, when Mama was contesting against some other candidates, you could see some people preferring, Dufo do well, but they want you to give him Dufo and they will be happy. The same thing. I mean, MPP or NDC will tell you that we want your not lose, but weaker candidates. That's what we we are going to play a match, what do you do? Oh, we hope they play this defender because we can dribble him. So politics is all the same.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's the same. Yeah. And is it 40%, 80%?
Of the country is below 44 years, or 44 and below.
Oh, wow. That's a very interesting statistic.
Yeah.
80% is below 44.
Yes. The other people are very few, 20%.
Yeah, Maraso. So this is an advice, though.
I mean, look, it's going to be an election for the youth and of the youth. And any party that is able to figure out this combination very well and give them the options, I think will have the upper hand. Have the upper hand.
Wow. So what is important to the youth? What are they talking about? These are the areas to look at for now.
Absolutely.
No longer.
Look, the youth want a better future. They want employment. They want job security. They want a future that they can plan very well. I don't think they want a future where they can just live a life of no goal. So we must, as a country, begin to really look at the population we have and have something very solid in place to address the youth unemployment. Beside the youth unemployment, I think there's issue of emerging issue of drugs as well. So we should have real policies to address the youths in drug. And I think these are, for me, the time bombs we have.
So looking at the whole picture now, I know we're still some years away from 2028. Not that many, but quite democratic. What does each party concern itself with now in the interim? Right now, the MPP has their presidential candidate, and it is supposed to be a big advantage for the MPP. And there are those who are worried that the NDC will lose track. Say, hey, Charlie, the MPP has their candidate. And now I'm sure your polls have picked up. There's already that kind of competition among the NDC as well. What is going to happen? Is it?
Look, MPP have their own reason of picking a flag bearer early. That has its own challenges as far as the party is concerned. They have time they have to do healing to heal themselves for the next battle ahead. That's good for a party who wants to confront the next election with a single voice. For the NDC, I don't think they have business in planning to replace somebody, because whether they win or they lose, it's not about who they pick. It's about what they have done when they were given the power. So they should focus on performance. Because when you perform and you deliver, then the person who is going to carry the flag is going to run on a record of what you have done.
Based on what you have been able to deliver.
So I think the focus for them, they should completely close their eyes from the polls. If anything, they should remember that it is their own performance as a government that would let them win the next election. If they don't perform, they will lose. Because you see, the tendency that, it's 4 years, is gone. These voters have no allegiance to those kind of theories. They don't have patience.
The voting behavior has changed.
These young people, they are no nonsense.
It's not 4 years.
It's not 8 years.
Deliver.
It's not deliver. If you deliver 8 years, I don't think, look, if you deliver even in 4 years, another 4 years, they don't care how long you are in power for. If you are delivering what they want, why should they replace you? So people should think that it is 4 years mandate, not 8 years. And that in that 4 years, you must deliver to the expectations of the people. You may not be able to accomplish everything you've said, but you must have made some tangible strides in proving that, look at what I have done. I can do more. But if what you have done is not good enough, they won't say, let's try them again. They will kick you out. Kick you out.
Yeah.
So they should focus on delivery, so that when they go to the election, they'll have their scorecard to put on the table. Know how early you were able to go to Congress and elect a candidate. It's not a candidate who will win the election for you. It's going to be the performance.
Is the record of the party, the performance
of the government.
What's on the ground of the government.
Absolutely.
I see.
Look,
I see.
polls will be done. It doesn't matter what they say because the pollsters are not part of the government machinery. Pollsters are independent people, and they let people see the views of the public, right? That doesn't mean that you should lose focus and be fighting among yourself as to who should lead. Who should lead is not about who can outsmart one or the other. It's about who has delivered.
Okay. I get it. So it's very interesting that within the parties, somehow the focus must be different. It's not a leader trying to assert themselves, me a leader, these are my qualities. Rather, where it will be for one party, and for another, it is what have you done?
Absolutely.
What have you been able to do?
Absolutely, because the MPP was voted out because people perceived they have not delivered on certain areas that matter to people. Before the election, it was about economy, employment, education, corruption, and health. Top 5 issues. So if you go back to the voters on your scorecard, how do you think the government has performed on the economy? If you are scoring on the same level as MPP, you are on your way out. If they measure against unemployment, you are at the same level as them. That's not good for you.
No point.
If they say on corruption, look, so the indices must work in your favor for you to win the election. And that's why people vote based on issues. On the economy, I think maybe things have improved. Okay. And that is why if you ask people what is of great concern to you today, people don't mention the economy anymore.
They forget, well, some work, yeah.
If you see economy being top issues, either they fear it will crash, or they fear somebody coming will crash it.
Okay.
So you have to look at data very carefully. But now, it's not of high priority to people. They don't
It's
feel
not the issue.
It's not the issue anymore.
The issue, though, now let me jump right into that. The issue has been the fight against corruption.
Absolutely.
The issue has been this loot everywhere you turn.
It's another weakest part of the government. I think in the next poll, we'll see how people perceive the government in terms of how they perform on the oral and the corruption fight. Overall, they think the government is doing enough in fighting corruption. But if you zoom down to oral itself, that's a different issue because, look, you might be doing enough to fight corruption, but are you doing enough in holding people accountable for past deeds? I think that's where they're falling short.
Accountable for past deeds.
Yes, and even current deeds. Don't just go past and current. Yeah. If you see any ugly sign of corruption, don't detain it, deal with it.
And especially because it was practically a campaign issue on the loot and So looking at that, I don't know whether you've done any poll tracking or whether it has appeared anywhere on your radar that the level of disappointment or dissatisfaction with the fight against corruption has been slow or weak or non-existent to the extent that it's now affecting Mahama, whose major crusade it was to do the oral?
Look, until now, in June, when we're going to measure how people rate the government on oral, we've seen evidence from the data that when people are complaining of not seeing any evidence of fighting corruption in the past, it tends to drag down those who think the government is doing enough in fighting corruption. When nothing happens, those who say you are doing enough in fighting corruption declines. And who say that you're not doing enough goes up. So you can see the relationship between the perception of how you are fighting corruption in terms of prosecution and overall sense of where we see you on corruption fight. But this time, in June, we are asking people specifically which aspect of certain things do they feel the government has not performed. Not performed, which one has not performed. And that includes oral, that includes job creation, that includes DUMSO, utility cost, and so many other factors. So we want to see what they believe the government has not delivered. Sometimes we want to say government has delivered. It doesn't drive home well. If you say, tell me where you think the government has failed, I think that brings out the emotional
more specific.
Yeah, and then they will tell you that this side you haven't done well. And I think that's the approach we are using now, rather than the reverse approach.
So when will that come out?
It will come out end of June.
End of June.
Yeah, 4th week of June, yes.
But I know you depend on data a lot. Everything data. As you said, what was it that you said? Data is magical. Data is something. You said something about data.
I mean, the data is everything.
Data is, yeah.
You cannot do anything without data. Without data, you are walking blind.
You can't even feel something like the feeling that people are having right now.
You can have a feel, but to what extent? How angry are they? You don't know. But the anger could be 20% or 80%. If it's 20%, your response will be different. If it's 80, then it calls for emergency crisis meeting.
Okay.
So the level of anger or the data, you must have a bit of sense of where you are with the data.
So this poll that is going to go into specifics, you're going to find out, for example, what specifically it's people are saying that the government has not been able to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically. And it's a whole lot of things that we are capturing this time around. And it's a very long list. Maybe I'll try and get the data and we can go through them. But some of them include the things that have made grounds recently. Cocoa pricing for farmers. We are teasing that out. We are also asking them how they think the government has performed on the Dumso. In fact, the Dumso, we have a separate question to asking them about how they think the government has handled the Dumso crisis. How well or how bad they think the government has done in that aspect. So that would come. But then in the main survey, we're looking to ask them to give us their views on several areas that are important for the government to know where people think they have not done well. And things that you know, utility costs like water bill and light bill. How do you think the government has performed on that? We're going to be asking them about Galamsey as well. How do you think the government has performed on Galamsey? And then we're going to ask them, how do they think the government has performed on Ural? How do you think the government has performed on CD performance, on the economy, on cost of living? And we've been hearing about cost of living crisis, and we want to see whether they share the belief that they haven't done well on cost of living or they have done well on cost of living. So all this will come out, and we will see the areas that they feel the government has not done enough. And I think that is very important for us to measure and let the government know, people know. For example, there's a list of things we're going to ask them the view about how the government has performed. Economy, education, fuel prices, cost of living, free sanitary pads, oral fighting, free laptops for students, electricity bills, city stability, 24-hour economy, unemployment, Dumso, water bills, cocoa prices, and Galamsey. So these have almost captured everything that has been topical in this country. So they should tell us which they have so many options, but they should take only 3 areas they believe the government has not performed. And how the government can assess for itself that, hey, it's what the guys are saying, what do we do? So we begin to ask people to hold people accountable who are in charge of those places. Yes.
And the good thing is that it's good both for government that is in power to understand what the people are thinking, and for those who are in position who also want to get into power to know.
Absolutely. So you know on which issue to tackle the government, to hit the government on. You can't hit the government on something that people don't see as important. And that's one thing that political parties make. They dwell on something that it has no impact
at all
for voters. So if you know what the voters are angry about, then you know how to hit the government and on what.
Otherwise you misfire.
You misfire. And if you don't hit them on education, who should you deploy to talk about educational gaps that we have found in the polls? If you want to talk about cocoa prices, if cocoa price is the top issue, if the report comes out and cocoa is not the top issue, you must as well leave it. And hold on something that matters. Well, it means you are connecting to the voter sentiment. Me see, when they have, also see there be a winner how. I mean, it doesn't work in political science like that.
So, as I'm listening to you, whether they like it or not, you are like one of the most powerful assets that is available for parties to consult, and I'm sure they are. But really, do you have the feeling that you have enough power to influence political direction because of what you know from your data?
Look, what I really want to do is let them see what the public is saying. And if that will influence their behavior for good governance, I'm more than happy. I'm happy with that. And that's the sole reason why I'm doing this job. That's the sole reason why Global Info is funding this as a CSR. We have no interest in shaping which party comes to power or goes to position. That is not our interest. If by so doing, we are able to let you know people's complaint and you fix it, haven't we done a good service?
Yeah. So basically, it's about building the nation.
Building the nation, not about building
It's not
the
about
party.
a party.
Absolutely
It's about
not.
what does the party need to know to build the nation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If we say that the country is headed in the wrong direction, and you are the president, and you sit aloof, that is your problem. But we've told you. And we've done this for more than 6-7 years. We've always told the government in power what people were thinking. From 2019, 2020, 21, or 21 we didn't do poll, 22, 23, 24, 20, we have continually been doing this. And we tell you. So if you want to see what people think about your government, then you follow the polls.
Which also means that people have so much vested trust in the polls.
Because, look, the people we talk to, we tell them that your voice is singular voice. You have no chance to go on radio to tell the president what you think. But when you talk to us, we will gather all the views that look like yours and tell the president to the polls. And I know every president will look at polls. Even opposition will look at the polls and see what the polls are saying. If you are getting unpopular, you don't wait until election day. You will see it much early.
Yeah. So the second part of the question is this. Knowing that, I can imagine that people have approached you, say, Musa Pacho, your polls, can you tweak it a little bit? Let me look good. I'm not asking for much.
We've had several experiences in that.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Really in the last year and a bit, when we started the MPP campaign, the polling in the MPP, people who are linked with the campaign, so here we don't do that. So they've done that. Even the NDC one, they've done it. Both sides have done it. But the thing is that we will let you know the principle we stand for, our ethics. We don't entertain that at all. And I don't go to grounds to collect the data. People who go there and do genuine work, why should I betray their trust? From sitting somewhere in my office here. No, we don't do that. Every data that has come through that I read out came from the people on the ground.
My point is that, you have done so well that you have established yourself as a credible source. So they know that if you put them at 2% and they can have a conversation, you can get it to 5
No, see, I'm not, in this job that I do, I'm not motivated by money.
Okay.
Now, money doesn't motivate me. People who know me. I live a very simple life. My diet is maybe 20 Ghana, 15 Ghana cedis. I'm okay. And look, I've lived a life that I've seen it all. And for me, it's the impact I will have on the society and the country that matters to me.
When you say you have seen it all,
I've lived through poverty. I have worked in an area where nobody wants to go, but we went there to save this country. I have seen poverty closely to a point that you shed tears that you feel you were poor,
Somebody was worse.
worse than you. And I know the value of good governance and how it impacts on human life. And if we are able to build this country with good governance, I think people will be gotten out of poverty. I believe what I'm doing will change life. It will put pressure on the people in power to do the right thing, because nobody wants to see his popularity slamming to 34%, 20%. They will do what is right. It will make the president sit on his toes, stand on his toes, and take the right decision. If you ignore it, there will be consequences. So for me, money is not a motivator. And again, this job is not my full-time job. I'm a consultant on my own. And I get job from being a consultant. And that job is not a polling consultant. You are financial and project consulting. So I don't rely on this. I do this job as a hobby. And that is why I'm in it.
Yeah. It's a hobby that could be extremely lucrative if you
yes, yes.
Well.
If you don't have strong ethics
Yeah.
to support what you do and be able to say no to people regardless of who they are, I don't care how big you are, I will say no to you. Absolutely not. If you give me a private job to do for you, let me see whether I have a chance. What I see is what I will tell you. And I'm not going to mince my words. I'm not going to say that because you give me a job, when I go next time and you are not doing anyhow, I'll be, no. Professional job. That is it. If you are losing, you are losing. It doesn't matter how much you're going to offer me to. I won't change that. Absolutely not. Look. I am a very religious person, and I believe that this is, you can't betray the people. Trust. You can't betray them. And
I like that. You can't betray their trust.
No, you can't betray their trust. No.
And there's a lot of that writing in your job.
Absolutely.
It's the foundation
Absolutely.
is that the people trust what you put out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because we tell them that if you tell us what you truly mean, they will hear it. The person says A, and I come and betray the trust and say he said B. No.
Wow.
I know it's a very difficult job. Yes, the pressure that you come under is quite severe. Just that I don't let it bother me. I just take it, brush it off, and I move. I mean, it's a lot of pressure.
What posts have you come up with that was so contentious that people were like ready to face you?
Everything I put out there is contentious. Look, recently we put out a data, that's a fact, which showed how MPP has declined from being the party with the most voters to the party with the least voters.
From the most to the least?
Yes. And people sometimes are in denial. But what else can you say? You look at the polling data in 2024, that puts MPP around 37%. And today, they're around 25%. People don't want to believe it. To a point where you tell someone today that if you line up their accounts in Ghana here, out of 100, 40 will say they are NDC, 30 will say they are MPP. This is shocking.
Their accounts?
Yes.
Accounts?
Yes.
That is shocking.
We just put out a data that compared 2024 to 2026 about party affiliation, region by region. And we showed where the parties were before and where they are now. Look, I hope it's here. You take Bono of the Ahafo region. The Ahafo region is an Akan region. What has happened there? If you take Ashanti, an Akan region, what has happened there? If you take Bunu East, what has happened there? If you take Western region, what has happened? Look, we have looked at each region one by one. And let me just tell you the differences, the changes that's happened between 2024 and 2026. In the Ahafo region, those who support MPP has declined by nearly 8%. And those who support NDC has gone up by 14%. If you go to Ashanti region, MPP has declined by 26%. NDC is up 12% compared to 2024. If you come to Bono, MPP is down 7%, NDC is up 13%. Bono East, MPP is up 4%, but NDC is also up 27% in Bono East. In Central, MPP is down 14%. NDC is up 26%. In the Eastern region, MPP is down 10%. NDC is up 17%. If you go to Greater Accra, MPP is down 8% and NDC is up 7%. In Northeast, MPP is down 6%, NDC is up 16%. Northern region, MPP is down 4% and NDC is up 4%. In the OT, MPP is down 5% and this is up 21%. Savannah, NDC is down 4%, MPP is up just 1%. In the Upper East, MPP is down 17%, NDC is up, is also down 2%. The rest have moved to other floating votes and so on and so forth. If you come to Upper West, MPP is down 17%, NDC is also down 2%. We go to Upper West, MPP is down 2%, and this is up 2%. Volta region, MPP is down just under 1%, but NDC is down 5% in Volta region. Western region, MPP is down 10%, and this is up 18%. Western North, MPP is down 13%, and NDC 10%. So you can see that the biggest shift in the party affiliation has come from the Akan areas. That is why 40% of Akans are saying they are NDC now, compared to 30% who say they are MPP, because MPP has lost grounds in almost all of the Akan areas.
So
those are frightening numbers.
Yeah, frightening. I can see why this is contentious.
Yes.
What in your opinion is this shift about, really? What is happening that all of a sudden it seems that the Akans are finding NDC attractive?
Look, I don't have specific data about why, but you can deduce by performance of what they think the country is now compared to where it was before. In terms of the direction of the country, before the elections, about 34% of people said Ghana was in the right direction. Actually, that number is about 67%. Look at the difference. People who were saying the standard of living has improved is now close to 60%. Before the elections, around 28% or 30%. So people have seen some differences in terms of what they're experiencing in their personal lifestyles. And if you look at people's perception about fighting corruption, it's much positive now than it was before. So those are the things that make people realign themselves. Especially when, remember, we said 80% are below 44 years. These guys are not very tribal in the way they support parties. They don't normally say, oh, yeah, me too, so I will remain there and die. They are transactional. If it's good for them, they will follow it. If it's not good, they will abandon it. So the political party affiliation, though is changing, is because people don't see the need to stay at one place forever. Very dynamic, very fluid. And these are young voters. Young voters, if it's good for them, they will join you. If it's not good, they will abandon you. So I think that demography is helping change the way people support political parties.
I remember back in the day where people could actually even insult you, and the insult was that and that was a whole insult, you know. So I mean, I'm just saying, I've seen times where the NDC was so unattractive, it was an insult.
Look, there are two data that would confirm my response. Out of every 100 delegates, 100 people with degree and above qualifications, 45 of them will say they are NDC.
With degrees and above?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you sample people with degrees and above, 45% will say they are NDC. Only 25 will say they are MPP. Before, the elite are MPP voters. Now it's changed. Beside that, even the wealthy, the rich. You know, we've been asking lately people's income level as voters, and they're telling us what their income level is, given the range. People who are earning above 80,000 and above, most of them say they are NDC. So the high income earners have shifted from being MPP to being NDC.
What do you think caused the shift?
Look, I think investment. People who have wealth really want stable economy, stable currency that they can help to plan their wealth. And they see the current environment probably more conducive for their wealth than in the past. So it will cause them to shift. Some too, I think they had investment in the bonds and other government treasuries that the DDEP really hit them and they lost the money. So they have that kind of anger against the party that caused that. So that is some of the reasons that you could ascribe to it. And then also, even the elderly voters, older voters. These older voters are normally conservative voters, and they are normally MPP. Now, older voters have abandoned them.
Really?
Because, again, the DDP, the pension issues, they suffered most. So you can trace some of this movement to events that have happened in the past compared to now. So you can see the problem. So, I mean, they have a lot of work to do as a party to rebuild trust, rebuild confidence. And as a party, I think they must put everything in there to do that, because you can't lose trust for a political
first
party.
of all, do they believe the poll? Or,
Look, I think...
will it be rubbish now?
I think in public, they will rubbish it. But privately, I strongly believe that.
They believe it?
Yeah, they believe it. They believe it. I believe so. Because look, if you look at the sentiments people express, even in social media, and how they react to certain things coming from the area of MPP, it gives you a sense of people who still have anger, and that anger has to be managed. They have to begin to tame the people's anger by new strategy, new communication strategy, new approach, new way of engaging the voters. I think that must be the most important thing now for MPP. People should not see them and still be angry at them. We need a very effective position, a very good one, for us to have a good governance in place. If you don't have a position that nobody trusts it, then it's going to be a problem. You give free right to NDC to do whatever they want to do. We don't want to have that. But I think it's in the interest of MPP to really sit down well and analyze the issues and sincerely try and take steps to address it.
Which looks like it will be tough if you haven't been able to accept that this is true. But you're saying it's been accepted as a truth, except publicly that will not come out as such.
I strongly believe that. But I know, I speak to some of them at top level. Initially, some of them think that, you have been paid by NDC to do NDC bidding. But I strongly believe that there are those who know that what this guy is doing is correct and that we need to work with it. And there are those, for PR purposes, they will rubbish it. And that is, it's okay for them to do in public. But we are in a situation where the voters now are smarter voters.
Yeah.
And they are on social media everywhere. Look, only 5% of the Ghanaian voters today we've sampled don't have social media account. Even if the person has no education, they still have TikTok. So a lot of them are on TikTok. Issues that are being discussed on X, people take it from X to TikTok and go and discuss it there. For my mother, who hasn't been to understand what the person was saying on TikTok. So the landscape has changed dramatically. And look, now even the traditional media is playing catch up with social media. Yeah. They are ahead of the game. Before you break the breaking news, somebody has put the news already on TikTok. And things that are discussed on the mainstream media platform are taken to platform and discussed further by bloggers and people who ordinarily you don't value them, but they have followers. So they are influencing the discussions that are being had in our homes. And that, for me, is revolutionary.
This is a question on this whole shift And did I have a guest recently? He was talking specifically about the personality of Mahama, and he said that personality alone, he said, was such a likable personality. He thinks that part of the influence is. Does your data pick that up anywhere? Is the personality such a big role?
You see, as a pollster, either you have specific answers or you want to use other data to collaborate what you are seeing. If you look at his approval rating as a president, he gets approval rating now, in fact, per the March poll, every region in this country approve of the way he's doing his job. Just like him. Every region, no exception. All the 16 regions, approval rating is above 50%.
In all 16 regions.
And that is the first time we've seen this happen in our polling history. Never happened before. This can only be his personality, because you can see a lot of even MPP people approving him.
Yeah.
Some people will approve him, but they will go and still vote for Bawumia in the general election.
Yeah.
So they are not, equating the approval of two. Exactly. So you can see the difference between somebody liking the way you're doing his job and then say, okay, when you want to vote, who would you vote for? So you can see clearly that a lot of the people support him, both MPP and NDC. And for the first time, we've seen majority of voters in the stronghold of MPP supporting Mahama or approving his job. Most people, around 56% in Ashanti region, approve of the way he's doing his job. In Eastern region, about 61%. In Northeast, around 53%, 52%. So it kind of transcends beyond party lines when it comes to him as a president.
In my analysis some time ago that I did, not data backed, but what I said was this: because Rawlings came out of a revolution, executed heads of states, and he was that kind of, military dictator kind of thing. Most of the people, or most of the attraction that NDC couldn't pull was because of this history, that you came with the revolution and blah, blah, blah. It seems to me that the NDC spent time to transform together. That's my own dataless thing. Let me consult you.
Some of it is pure demographic changes.
Demographic?
Changes, yes. In 1981, this happened. In 1979, who was alive among these people who we said they are 40 years and above?
Yeah.
And so over time, those kind of things lose currency.
Yeah, people who don't even relate to it. They don't even know it.
And that's the problem for some even the Nkrumahist. Nkrumah has done it.
Yeah.
We've read it historically.
Yeah.
But it was so far in the history that these people cannot relate it to it. So that's why you don't feel CPP is able to use Nkrumah to galvanize in
anymore.
The people have changed. In Nkrumah time, we used to buy this and that and that. How many? I wasn't there when Nkrumah was there.
Yeah.
So the demographic changes has changed everything. And Rawlings, after he left power, he lived as an ordinary citizen. He didn't cause trouble. He lived a normal life. So people don't say,
part of the transmission to democratic rule was still under him.
Yeah, so people give him credit that when he went, he didn't come up with another gun to remove democracy. So that respect, he gets it. And I think he's even more revered now that he's gone. People really speak well of him than now that he's gone than when he's alive. That's as Africans. When you die, that's when we cherish you.
They'll be full of praises for you.
A lot of these things are demographic changes. And remember, those who harbor things like that are the very old people, and there are not many in the population right now.
Nkrumah Mresu, JB Dankwah Mresu, Champo. They don't know.
It doesn't resonate well with people.
Yeah. Well, it makes me feel so aged now because I take pride in recollecting that I saw every coup in Ghana.
No, but it's also a privilege to have lived through those times.
Yeah.
You can see what has happened then, what's happening now. better perspective of things than many of us.
I hope I do.
Yes. It's always a privilege.
Yeah, and it's good to observe everything and then adjust and understand why the need is to adjust. I think the problem people have had is just sticking to what they know and that's it, But
that will take you.
No, that doesn't make sense.
No.
You have to. The world is changing, and you have to understand what is causing the changes. Even if you agree or not, at least understand why the changes are happening, and then So my final question, Musa Dankwah, the great Musa Dankwah. It is a very personal question. I mean, how do you feel personally? Do you feel you've accomplished quite a bit? Because now, whether people like it or not, people are now understanding the need to respect polls.
No, personally, I feel fulfilled. If I hear what people tell me on the street. This morning, I was part of a program by a group of African political consultants at the UPSA. And a gentleman I met there is from a brew.
He's from where?
A brew.
Okay.
On the mountains.
Okay.
And he expressed the joy when he puts me on TV explaining this polls. And we've also had times when students call you about data. During their PhD, they have no data. And we give them data free of charge. When people see what you do and how you've opened their eyes, I think this country has changed forever. Whether I'm alive or dead, I think polling, the way we do it, has come to stay. And Global Info is not Musa Dankwah. That company is there and will be there to continue everything we've been doing. And I believe we've made a huge impact. We've been able to cut through the noise, let the public see what is out there without the interference of politicians. In the past, they've controlled the narrative. This time around, the people are driving the narrative.
So all the politician has to do is to keep quiet and learn from what the people are saying.
Absolutely, because the voice of the people is the voice of God.
And in the past, there was so much interference.
Oh yes, I mean
they wanted the people to
not to know what is happening.
Yeah,
you see, and one of the reasons why we have problems is that if you look at what is happening in the NDC race, everybody, every home is discussing the options available for the NDC to choose from. They are discussing the strengths and the weaknesses of each of the options. When you do that, you are able to make a better decision in the end. Right? Because somebody will say, oh, this person has done that, and everybody would engage in the conversation openly. So at the end of the day, when you are going to elect someone, you know everything about the candidates and you make an informed decision. If we don't put this data out there, there will be no discussions at homes. And sometimes the politicians don't want this discussion to happen in the first place. Because it may be that he will not be the one who would benefit in the end. So such a person will fight against that. Or their accessories, people who are working for them, will do everything to tarnish your image. But they don't want the debate to happen in public like that. But we have opened the space. From MPP time, we did it. So why should we do anything different from the NDC one? I mean, we have to be very fair and unbiased to MPP. And before, people were saying that we can't do what we did to MPP in the NDC race but we are doing. We haven't stopped. Nothing has changed. That's that they should focus to what they are doing as a government, not to focus on the polls. The polls just to let you know people's sentiment, and that whoever will lead will have to make a case for himself through the eyes of the public and also for the delegate. I think the transparency has been enhanced, and the discussions are happening everywhere, and that discussions is what enhances democracy.
Well, what can I say? Congratulations, man. I mean, for me, people are doing polls. It's not like you started it.
No.
But you have made it credible and you have made people understand that it is not something that you go in so that you can make money out of. Even though you can, that is not your provision, anything.
No.
And I think I'm congratulating you now because that is the brand called Global Info Analytics. It's solid.
Absolutely.
You know, and it can be tempered with that.
Absolutely. We believe in doing the right thing for the good people of this country.
You are.
And nothing more.
You are. And keep it up.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, thanks for joining us. And I'm glad you tuned in. I've learned a lot, so I know you have. And thank you very much to my guest, Musa Dankwah. He has become so popular that one time somebody said, "Hey, Misa," they call me Misa. Say, "Me Misa, me di Musa." So show some love one more time, and we'll catch up with you next week.